This video is about steps for writing sine and cosine functions from given graph. Let's talk about transformation form of sine and cosine function. We know A is the amplitude, C is the starting point, D is a midline. For the B, this is the formula. B is related to the period. First of all, you need to figure out the maximum and minimum. Then the amplitude equals the maximum minus minimum over 2. The midline equals the maximum plus minimum over 2. There are 3 ways to figure out this period. You can use the horizontal distance between two nearest maximum value or two nearest minimum value. Or you can use 2 times the horizontal distance between two nearest max and minimum value. Or you can use the horizontal distance for every other point on the midline. It's really up to you to figure out this period. Then you can use this formula to figure out the B. How to get the C? C is the hardest part for you to find. Remember, you have to look at the pattern of the sine and cosine function. If C equals 0, means starting point is on y-axis. Then you need to draw the pattern of sine and cosine function to decide the A is positive or negative. Then the x-coordinate of a starting point equals C. Here's the pattern for sine, cosine, negative cosine. For sine, it's starting from the midline. And for cosine, it's starting from the maximum or minimum. Let's look at example. The following diagram shows the graph f of x equals a sine bx plus c. For x, it's between 0 and 12. The graph f has a minimum point at 3, 5, and maximum point that's 9, 17. Find the value of c. First of all, let's compare this function pattern and this function pattern. We know this C, that's the starting point, is 0. Which means this function start from y-axis. Since this is a sine pattern, that's why from here, you will draw this pattern. We could say this is a negative sine x pattern. Therefore, for this A, it will be less than 0. What's this C? C we call midline. That equals maximum. It's 17. Minimum, that's 5. So adding together over 2 equals 11. Show that B equals pi over 6. This B equals to 2 pi over P. For the period, you could say 2 times. This is a minimum. Here's a maximum. 9 minus 3. So you get the 12. 2 pi over 12. That's how you get the pi over 6. So for show that, you have to show this and this. Find the value of A. We already figured out A is a negative. Therefore, A equals, I put a negative sign. Maximum 17 minus minimum, that's 5 over 2. So you get negative 6. Therefore, you will get the y equals negative 6 sine pi over 6x plus 11. Now let's go to 4a. Let fx equals this pattern. Then the x between 0 to 10. The local maximum, that's 3, 5. Local minimum, that's 7, negative 5. And crosses the x-axis at R. Write down the value of A, C, and also find the B. First of all, we know this C is a starting point. It's not 0. Therefore, for cosine, we could see this pattern. This is a cosine. This will be the starting point. Therefore, C equals 3. Compared to y equals cosine x, let's move to the right 3 units. According to this pattern, we know the A is greater than 0. Therefore, for amplitude equals maximum, that's 5 minus negative 5 over 2 equals 5. For this B equals 2 pi over P. For the period, you will use the distance between maximum and minimum. This is 3, here's 7. Then multiply by 2. That equals 8. So we plug in here. 2 pi over 8 equals pi over 4. Therefore, y equals 5 cosine pi over 4 x minus 3.